The video that you're about to catch is from a recent live stream I did covering the topic of why men can't have multiple wives. We dive into polygamy, we dive into red pill, we dive into all those kinds of things. And if you want to check out that full stream replay, click the link in the description to get access to the context behind this clip you're about to watch. And before you continue, allow me to introduce myself. My name is GrapeJuice, and this channel exists to help you and others alike build healthy, happy, whole, and biblical relationships. Comment below your takeaways and enjoy the video. One of the ways that I think as believers, man, as men of God, being in a culture like this and looking to have impact is tell your story. Tell your story on the struggles you've overcome, your testimonies, all of that good stuff. But tell people how purity has been helping you. I saw a question where Keyshawn asked, is as a society, are we desensitized to the point that there's no turning back? I don't think it's to a point that there's no turning back, because I think with God, all things are possible. God can cause so much shift in people, man, in an unknown time. Okay. So I don't think it's a sense that it's too far gone. I don't think, from what I've seen, that there's more people talking about their experiences and how they overcame, how God helped them overcome. I see a whole lot of more like, hey, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. We want people to just stop sinning instead of, man, you know what? Let's get some context, some dialogue, and some understanding on how you got here. But more importantly, let's journey through this and be willing to walk with people who you're around who may be struggling with those things and really, really be with them in that journey. You know, when they have setbacks and relapses, we don't cook them and grill them. We just help them stand back up and keep moving forward. It's a lot of altar work, man. That's a lot of stuff that we have to dig into. Of course, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to come from you to do it. Some people need therapy. Some people need that legit stuff, man, to really dig into some real issues that, man, they didn't even see and they didn't even know were the problem. And so I think a lot of times, man, we got to be willing to lead by example, not by matching the energy of culture. Like, I don't think we're as dope as we think we are when we're coming on these platforms and crucifying other people who are of the same body. Like, I just don't. I don't think we're that dope. For you to go crazy and bombastic and call out people, man, like, I just don't think we're that dope. I think we need to move with the energy that Jesus moves in. I saw again in the text this morning, man, Jesus asked questions. He was in the middle of the heat. They came with plans to trap him, everything. Jesus asked questions, yo. And I think that's a way that we can process and deal with these things and not just, oh, well, I'm a virgin, like telling people, like, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but can we just keep it in some context for real too, since we talked about Tim Ross, because he's legit in this, and I agree with him though. There are some people who are that because they didn't have options. It ain't because you had all that stuff thrown at you. I'm not shaming you. We got to stop bragging about this stuff as if we're just better than people who have done it, and we're better than people who have been through some things that led them to that space, or they were in a long-term committed relationship that got intimate over time, and it's just what they did. You're not better than them because you saved yourself. If we really got into the nuance, you had no choice. We got to be willing to share our story and share the benefits of it, because it helps. I'm going to share this. I actually experienced this, man. I had no idea this conversation impacted this girl's life. We had a conversation sit down at Whataburger. This was after we went to a high school game. We caught up, her and her group of friends, and I just tagged along. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I don't really step out that much, but I'm going to sit with them. And they were talking about their own thing. I was just sitting back listening. And then they kind of started talking about stuff that I was intrigued about. Bible, all that kind of stuff, just asking questions. She asked, are you a virgin? I was like, yeah. That was the first time I had ever been honest about my sexuality status, because I was somebody who wanted to appear. Man, I was so caught up in just wanting to appear as something I wasn't. I wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't look like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, what's up? Go for it. Go for it.
Why did you feel the pressure to say, no, boy, I be knocking boots all the time?
I was more afraid of how they would perceive me if I said the truth. Yeah, 1000%.
That's the one thing that kills almost every dream that everybody has, is the perceived perception of other people about who we are. Seriously. And all the years that I've been alive, the dreams that are killed the most. The biggest dream killer in life is other people's fear of somebody else's perception of who they are. It's not that God didn't give, it's not that they don't pray, it's not that they don't have a plan, it's not that they haven't even been around other people. It's the perception of somebody else that kills their dreams. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I was
No,
just curious
I
to know.
love that. I love that. Yeah. And it was real, man. I sat back. I was like, yep, yep, I am. And what's crazy is they were shocked. They were shocked. And they were shocked because, well, you're tall, you're black, you play basketball. Like, oh, duh, all these stereotypical things. I said, can I tell you why I've chosen? It's not, and I kind of prefaced it by saying this because it's true. It was true. And I was just trying to be as honest as I could in that whole conversation. It's not that I didn't have opportunities. I just didn't do it. More so because I was afraid of consequences, man. My conscience was huge on me because I recognized my value. I did. I was like, let's be honest. Like once I start, it's going to be really hard to stop. And I don't really know if you're here for the long haul like that. And it's going to be impossible for me to really know that once we start laying in bed together. Because that's going to start seeping into being a major part of why we stay together. And as we were talking, and I continue to share it, I continue to share my story, my testimony, those kinds of things. They was like, man, I'm finna tear up just continuing to listen to you talk, all this kind of stuff. I come back around, I have the message right here. I come back around this, I checked in maybe this is about 3 years ago, December 2021. I just shouted her out. I was like, man, I appreciate you. Remember that conversation we had? That was so helpful, just getting insight from people that I've been around for so long, because she was even telling me at the table, like, I wish I would have waited. That's what blew my mind. She's like, I wish I would have waited after experiencing it. Yeah. 1000%. I remember being in Xbox parties. These cats that were talking about having rosters every day, all day, coming to the lunch table. Look who I got. Look who I got. Look who in my phone. Look who sent me this. Look who sent me that. Man, they like, bro, it wasn't worth it. I said, what? I said, it wasn't worth it. He said, no, it wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. And I had the biggest smile on my face. But here, I'm going to read just a little bit of this. She was like, if I'm being completely honest, that conversation with you helped me out a lot too. I wasn't expecting that. I said, dang, do you remember what I said? Because I don't even really remember what I said, but I remember what you kind of said. And at the end of the second message she sends back, she says, when you were talking about saving yourself for marriage, I said, that's interesting. She said, I did make the decision. This is quote, I did make the decision to save myself for marriage based on our conversation that day. I mean, just talking about those things, man, it can spark some change and transformation in people's hearts that you would not believe. I did not come to that conversation and say you dirty and start cooking and start going crazy. I didn't say that you're a sinner. You need to get in you need to say the Lord's Prayer. You need to wash up. Like, no.
Okay, but you did say earlier,
Yeah.
You're referring to something to Tim. You're not better. I don't necessarily think that it's a better or a worse in terms of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there should be necessarily a judgment, but I will say I do think that it's better.
Yes. Yes.
I think that judging that person, I think that's the wrong thing to do. But I will say the better choice,
yes,
is to wait and do it the way that God intended for you to do. So I would definitely use better and that terminology. And I want you to think about what she thought about. She was like, yo, this is better. How many brothers you got?
One. But...
Okay, so one brother. Same house, same parents. Grow up, same house, same parents. One of y'all grow up, same house, same parents. One of y'all grow up, become a serial. The other of you grows up and becomes a federal judge. Was one better?
One's decisions were better.
So was one better?
Better because of it, yes.
So a decision comes from knowledge, information, identity, purpose, and all this. So to me, it's better.
Yeah.
Judgment would be you should have been me. Does this make sense?
I get that. I like
that. But better is I made a decision to do this. I don't have to turn my back. I don't have to look behind me. I don't have to worry about this, that, and the third, so on and so forth, prison, all this other kind of good stuff. That's a better decision. But saying you should have been me, No. But saying you should have made better decisions, I do believe that there is better involved in that.
As you were even going there, I think that how you articulate that is again by sharing that story, man, because it reveals that okay, you didn't go down that path, so maybe you didn't look as cool, but I see you're a whole lot more sane and you're a whole lot more able to enjoy where you are and you're in a whole lot more of a space of clarity of thinking. And so I can see that that's better. And now I have an opportunity now seeing a different side of things. I can make that decision now. Because think about it, in high school, and I'll say it for me, I'm just surrounded by cats, horny man all day, every day. Like nobody is stepping in the middle saying, this ain't something because no one wants to be that party pooper kind of person. No,
So crazy, man.
nobody wants to ruin the fun. So let me just join in and get like everybody else because I don't want to be that dude and I don't want to be hated around school. And I'm more worried about status. Oh, man. Yeah, I was just so worried about status. You'll jump into certain stuff. And before you know it, you're programming yourself to do those things. Everybody talks about, I need to spend my 20s having fun and getting rid of all this out of me. That is the biggest lie I have ever heard in my life because all you're doing in that sense, when it comes to sexual relations, is programming your body to need that later on. And when you get into a space of a committed situation where they end up not doing that, you will find every reason to leave and not one to stay. And that's on you, not them. And that will always be an issue, man. So yeah,